I'm just trying to be me, doing what I gotta do. Some people think that I'm just sitting on top of the world. Well, in this case, you kinda are.
You are now listening to The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay on Spotify. A podcast aimed to uncover and share the stories behind heinous and insane acts that have been overlooked or overshadowed by mainstream media, getting justice for the voices that can't speak.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, and I am the host of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. A podcast designed to focus on crimes committed in the Black community that you don't hear about in mainstream media, giving a voice to those victims that have otherwise been silenced. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast with me, Kay, the Texas girl in a Georgia world, baby. Ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right? It is Monday, November 24th, 2025. I know this episode is like overdue by like a week, but listen, that was a 13-hour drive that I had to make. So thank y'all for y'all patience, but I wanted to drop it when I got to my parents' house. But yes, y'all, it is Monday, November 24th, 2025, and I am feeling very excited. I'm at home. I'm enjoying my family time here in Texas. The Thanksgiving holiday is coming up, and I'm just ready to kick back and have a nice family visit, kick it with my people, enjoy some good food and all of that. Not to mention the virtual show this Friday. So I hope y'all are ready for that because I know I am. So much stuff is going on. This year really has like flown by, like just like that. Like I really feel like we just said Happy New Year and now it's about to be 2026. But, I'm not going to complain because the closer we get to the new year, the closer I get to that bag, baby. Amen. Okay. Now, the top of the year brings a lot of opportunities for me business wise, and I will be that much closer to the completion of something that I've been working on for a minute. Plus, it'll be closer to summer break, and Lord knows I need one when them kids go to their daddy and I can get my butt on that cruise ship and unplug for a week. But like I said, thank y'all for being patient with me on the episode this week. I know it was supposed to drop last Sunday. It was already ready. All I had to do was record it. But y'all, I'm not going to lie. Listen, I was being lazy. I was tired. I am literally less than a month away from graduating, and that thesis paper was kicking my ass. Okay. Like every day I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop it. I wanted to drop it on Wednesday, but then I was like, no, I need to be respectful of, other podcasts. And then Friday, I was like, yeah, ain't no way in hell I'm dropping it then because that's Sisters Who Kill, So I just said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and drop it once I get to Texas. And so, it's a little late, but it's being dropped. But best believe Friday, we're on point. Now, obviously, like I told y'all before, there's not going to be a show on Sunday or an episode on Sunday because we're live streaming Friday. So you're getting it 2 days early. That one is already, taken care of and everything. And I can't wait to, sit and just chop it up with you guys on that. But, nevertheless, you will get it. But I'm definitely excited about the upcoming quarter. I've got some book events that I'm going to be participating in that I'm excited about. I'm going to Vegas for the Boozy Book Tour, February 27th through March 1st. That is going to be big, and it'll be my first time going to Vegas too. Ooh, best believe I'm cutting up. And I got a couple of other events going on at Nubian Bookstore. Plus, I'm planning another Infamous Ones live show in Atlanta. Now, listen, I really want to do one in like Florida or Texas or even like something like Nashville, but I don't know. Y'all seem to love Atlanta. Like, I don't know what it is. That place got a hold on y'all. Granted, most of the listeners do live in Georgia, so it's easier, but I really want to kind of venture off and do another state. So I'm kind of, looking into that. But whatever I do, it'll be funded by me and me only. So it's going to have to be creative because, I'm balling on a budget. Okay. But in the meantime, we got the virtual show coming up this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm excited about that. Now, I'm going to have a couple of announcements for y'all at the end of the episode. So y'all just make sure that you stay tuned because it's going to pertain to, some episodes that are coming up as well as some other things. But in the meantime, y'all know what I'm about to ask, right? What you sipping on? Well, I am sipping on some peach that my daddy gave me. Like I said, I'm here at my parents' house and everything. So if y'all happen to hear some background noise, those are my lovely parents. But I'm sipping on some peach right now. That good old dark liquor, you know what I'm saying? And I'm also eating something that's a little interesting. So I have a new snack this week. Tonight I got a little something different. I ordered a trio box from this company called Sweet and Sticky, and it's out of Warner Robins, Georgia. It's candy covered pineapples, strawberries, and grapes dipped in peach mango and then covered in nerds. So, like, no, it's not gummies or nothing like that. No, it's not, THC enhanced or anything. It's just regular, fruit that's been dipped in like this candy coat and it looks so cute. I'm going to post a picture of it in the Facebook group. Now, like I said, she's local. So I went to scoop them up before, I got on the road. And baby, let me tell you, they are good. Okay. Not good. They are good with a T on the end. So we're gonna see if they make it to the end of this episode. Like I said, I'm gonna post a picture of it on the Facebook group page. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. Hop on in and buckle up, baby, because we about to take a ride to California 2006. And I'm going back to Cali. Yes, y'all. Now we're gonna do a little bit of traveling to Mississippi too. But the main part of this story takes place in 2006 in Los Angeles, California. Back when, Justin Timberlake was bringing sexy back, Young Jock had it going down. Damn, that song is old. And the fact that that came out in 2006 and here we are 19 years later, woof, yikes on bikes. But, that's how it was. The clubs was popping and Tyler Perry had the box office on Smash with Medea's Family Reunion. And tonight's featured celebrity, well, she had a little bit of a situation that turned into a deadly end. So I hope y'all got y'all snacks and your drinks ready because we about to ride out, baby. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that I am probably more so definitely going to fuck up a couple of names, but blame it on my head and not my heart, okay? Just making it clear because when I saw the names, I struggled just to read them. But anyway, let's get this going. This week's case involves Awatef Obidahaj, the victim, Marwan Muhammad, surviving victim, Kareem Muhammad, surviving victim, Mallory Ham, surviving victim, and the infamous murderer of the week, Brandy Norwood. Brandy Rayana Norwood was born February 11th, 1979, to Willie Norwood and Sonia Norwood in Macomb, Mississippi. Now, y'all know who else has that birthday, right? Yep, the one and only Whitney Houston. Rest in peace to good old beautiful Nip. Now, a lot of this stuff that's being discussed, you probably already know because Brandy's been in the industry for so long and a lot of her life has, been publicized on television. But just in case you've been living under a rock, y'all know she has one brother by the name of Willie Norwood Jr., aka Ray J. And Lord have mercy, there's so much that can be discussed there, but we're not even going to get into that because that's a whole nother episode. But Brandy was raised in a very Christian household. Her father, Willie, was a gospel singer and a choir director, and her mother, Sonia, worked as a district manager for H&R Block. The two of them married and had both Brandy and then later Ray J, and they were a happy family. Brandy's stardom started fairly early. At 2 years old, she was performing her first gospel solo at her father's church, Southside Church of Christ. And Brandy loved music. She was a tremendous fan of Whitney Houston, who, of course, later became like her godmother. And she wasn't really finding the support that she needed in schools in Mississippi to really pursue her career. So her family decided to move to Carson, California. Why Carson? I don't know, but that was where they chose. So when they moved to Carson, California, Brandy attended Bancroft Junior High School, where she started doing talent shows and all of that and getting her name out there. And it worked too, because when she was 11 years old, she joined a singing group and was, literally kind of like the Beyonce. Like when I say Brandy walked so Beyonce could run, that's exactly what I mean. Brandy was the Beyonce before Beyonce. Like she just knew that she was going to be in the spotlight. And in 1990, at 11 years old, she signed with Teaspoon Productions, which was ran by Chris Stokes and Earl Harris. Now, you know, Chris Stokes is the manager for IMX, B2K, all of them. And that is how Brandy got her start. She became a backup singer for the R&B group Immature. That was IMX before they changed their name. So she started doing background vocals for Immature. And by the age of 13, she had created her own demo tape. And then in 1993, she got her first big break. She started negotiating with East West Records, and her mother Sonia and father Willie negotiated a contract for her with Atlantic. Looking for a book that resonates with your soul? Well, look no further than Author K, a master ghostwriter, storyteller, and author who weaves tales across multiple genres, from heartwarming romance to gripping urban horror. Whether you're searching for a contemporary romance that sweeps you off your feet or street lit that reflects the realities of life, Kay's writing speaks to the heart of every reader. Her work also passionately highlights the Black Lives Matter movement, bridging narratives that matter. Dive into the journey of discovery, empowerment, romance, and connection through Kay's incredible reads. Visit www.msk.com today and dive into a world of unforgettable tales. That's www.mzkaye.com. Your next favorite book is just a click away. So Brandy went before Atlantic's A&R Daryl Williams, and she blew him away with her vocals. Like he was like, "Yo, I want to sign this girl ASAP." And at that point, Sonia realized, okay, hey, we've got a superstar on our hands. This is going to require a lot more time and attention. So she quit her job at H&R Block and she becomes Brandy's full-time manager. And it was good that she did because in 1993, Brandy got her first big, breakout role on the television show Thea, where she played the role of Denisha Terrell, which was Thea's daughter. Now, the show only lasted for one season, but she got a good 19 episodes in, which is amazing. It starred Thea Vidal, of course, as well as Adam Jeffries and the fine and handsome Jason Weaver. Listen, I have been in love with Jason Weaver since I was a kid. Okay, that man is too fine. Y'all remember him from Smart Guy and the movie ATL and all of that? Oof, yeah, that was some fineness. Okay. But that show had a lot of good stars. Jason Weaver, Yvette Wilson, who, later played Andale on the Parkers and Moesha and all of that, which was another show, obviously, that Brandy was on. It also starred Miguel Nunez, Wesley Jonathan. That show back in the day was everything. And I hated that it was only there for one season. But what I did find out is that there was a lot of behind the scenes drama. See, Thea didn't necessarily care for Brandy. She felt like she was disrespectful while she was filming the sitcom with them. And Thea never really held her tongue like that. Like she would do interviews later on down the line and she would be like, "Yeah, she's talented, but she and her mama were both disrespectful when we worked together on the set." And I stand by that shit. And I mean, I get it if you felt some type of way, but take it up with her mama. Like she's 13, 14 years old. Talk to Sonia on it so she can correct the matter. Don't be petty. Like, don't take it out on the kid. But be that as it may, the show was canceled and Brandy had to move on, and that's exactly what she did. As she got older, she attended the Hollywood High Performing Arts Center. But by the time she was in the 10th grade, she had to go ahead and drop out because she was starting to become more successful. So she ended up with a private tutor. After signing with Atlantic Records in 1993, the following year, in 1994, Brandy released her self titled debut album. She had several hits off that album. It had several tracks that went number one or peaked the charts in some kind of way. You had Baby, you had Best Friend, which to this day is still one of my favorite songs. And shout out to my besties, by the way, Amanda and Joseph, although I'm still pissed at Amanda for that shit that she pulled, that prank that she pulled on me. I'm going to get that heifer back. But anyway, she had I Wanna Be Down. Oh, and then the Baby, the remix, ooh, straight fire. And that remix to I Wanna Be Down with Queen Latifah, MC Light, all of that, fire. And of course, let's not forget about Broken Hearted with Wanye Morris from Boys to Men. Speaking of Wanye, y'all know he and Brandy had a little thing, right? Yes. See, there were rumors floating around for years that the two dated, but ultimately Wanye denied it because at the time that they, supposedly dated, Brandy was underage. She was 16 and he was 22. And you know that Mama Sonia didn't play that. Okay. Wanye actually spoke on it later and he was like, well, Brandy and I were friends in the beginning. Her mother reached out to me as well as my manager reached out to me, reached out to Brandy because she was a big fan of mine. I was young at the time. I wasn't, you know, doing anything. So what happened is she kind of came like my little protege. I'm actually the one who introduced her to Vita Spears and Ralph Farquhar. They came to us to do a television show on the UPN network. And I said, well, Brandy's down the hall and she's basically, she was on the Thea show. And, the show came to fruition. And he was like, yeah, my mom and I wrote the theme song to the Brandy show. So Brandy and I were really, really close. I bet. Now, it wasn't until after Brandy was 18 that all of a sudden the two realized that out of nowhere that they had feelings for each other. Okay. So Wanye was like, oh, well, once she turned of age, we had been hanging around each other so much that there came to be a sort of connection, an intimate connection. We actually fell in love. We were young. That's what happens. You're young and you fall in love, especially when you have the ability to be around somebody like that. Now, I call bullshit on that because they definitely were fucking around beforehand, but I digress. So, from what Wanye said, they broke up because he and Brandy outgrew each other. But the artist Adina Howard, y'all know her Miss T-shirt and panties on. She said that Brandy and Wanye broke up because he fell in love with her, but Brandy didn't feel the same. Oof, child the mess. So after the soap opera drama, Brandy got back to the grind, and over the next several years, nothing but success. She ended up landing the gig of a lifetime, which was the UPN sitcom Moesha. She played Moesha Mitchell, and she grew up in a household with her brother Miles, who in a lot of ways was like Ray J. Okay, her father Frank Mitchell, who was over the top, extremely resilient. Oh my God, his character irked me. And then, of course, her stepmother Deirdre Mitchell. The show was nominated for 32 awards and it won three, one of which was won by Countess Vaughn for the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. And there was some drama with Countess too. Like Countess and Brandy had beef. Countess was hilarious on the show though, and she knew that the network needed her, and supposedly that was a problem for Brandy because this is supposed to be her show. She's the star. And so the two of them argued over Countess playing in the background quite a few times. At one point, Brandy told Essence in an interview, I just feel like she wants to be in the position I'm in. People tell her, oh, you're the reason why the show's successful. And she's told me that before, and she's called me a bitch to my face. I couldn't say nothing about her because I wasn't about to. She knows. She wakes up and looks at herself in the mirror and gets disgusted. Okay. Well, either way, she got a show out of it. She got the Parkers that starred her and Monique. And Brandy actually did a few episodes and even, did their introductory episode. And after 20 years, the two were able to work it out with both apologizing via social media. Yeah, y'all know that's the way to get everybody to see stuff, social media. So, after landing Moesha in 1997, Brandy ended up starring in the role as Cinderella alongside with her godmother, Whitney. And it was dope because you had a black Cinderella who was married to an Asian Prince Charming. Like, how dope is that? The prince's mama is black, his daddy is white, and they had an Asian son. Like, that's a lot. And, Brandy kept it going because the following year in 1998, she starred as Carla Wilson in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. That's right, y'all. The black girl survived. What? And that summer, she made one of the best hits ever. Together with Monica, they recorded the epic song that is still popular to this day, The Boy Is Mine. You need to give it up. Had about enough. Yes, y'all know the song. So she was inspired after watching an episode of Jerry Springer and she thought, okay, hey, you know what? Let's make a song out of it. And so she and Ronnie Jerkins, they started writing and the rest is history. Now, the song earned her a Grammy Award and some drama, apparently. The song was a smash, don't get me wrong. It was number one for 13 weeks straight on the Billboard's Hot 100, and they both got a Grammy out of it. But Brandy was asked to go onto the Tonight Show and perform it. And guess what song she chose to perform? The Boy Is Mine. So Monica sees this and she's not too happy about it. She was like, why the fuck did she go up there and do this song without me? But then Brandy turned around and got heated that Monica named her second album The Boy Is Mine. So they're both mad at each other for trivial stuff. But, they had to put all of that to the side because they had to perform the song together at the MTV VMAs that year. And during rehearsal, things got a little heated when Monica, with her I'm so ATL, punched Brandy in the face. Like, woo, child, the ghetto. So the two tried to play it off like nothing happened, but Monica later confirmed that she did that shit. She was like, "Yeah, I punched her." And y'all know Monica ain't no punk, okay? Neither is Brandy, but Monica, oof, thugger, thugger. So the two worked out their issues some years later because in 2012 they turned up to do another song, "It All Belongs to Me." Now, in the midst of all of that, Brandy continued to work and grow her brand. She's getting all of these awards and accolades. Albums are coming out. She's really doing a lot. She released more albums, including Full Moon, which was another banger with hits like Aphrodisiac, Full Moon, of course. She was a judge on America's Got Talent. Then she released another album called Human. She did Dancing with the Stars. Her and her family even had their own reality TV show, Brandy and Ray J, a family business, where it had a couple of seasons. And so she was really flourishing. And in the midst of that, she had some fine ass boyfriends too, okay? From high school back in 1996, she was dating Kobe Bryant. He took her to his prom at Lower Marion High School in Pennsylvania. And then, of course, we all know she was with Wanye, who she said that was her first love, but the relationship supposedly only lasted a few years. Then, when she dropped her Never Say Never album, she was dating Mace. Like, she took that whole slow down, Mace, she killing me to a different meaning, ain't it? So, during that time frame that she was filming Brandy and Ray J, she was dating the rap artist Flo Rida. Woo, girl, okay, you moving from place to place, honey. I ain't mad at it. So, it was one person in particular that really captured her heart and gave her her greatest gift. So while she was working on her album Full Moon back in 2001, she met this producer by the name of Robert Smith, aka Big Bird. Now, the two of them had the same birthday and they started, linking up and everything on the low, and everything was going good. They're all in love. And then in January 2002, Brandy tells everybody, "Hey, y'all, I'm pregnant." And, everybody's kind of like shocked because she had kept her relationship with Robert such a big secret. And there was a lot of controversy with that because, Brandy is looked at as the sweetheart, like, America's sweetheart, the girl next door, all of that. So for her to be pregnant and not be married, like that was just unheard of. So the two of them went along with it and they was just like, "Oh yeah, we're married, whatever, whatever." And on June 16th, 2002, the two welcomed Sarai Iman Smith. Baby, when I say that girl is her mama's twin, stole her whole face, okay? They had a, cute little family, but a year after she gave birth to Sarai, she and Robert ended up breaking up. And in 2004, Robert went to the media and was like, "Oh, yeah, that whole marriage thing, yeah, that was a big ass lie. Yeah, we were never married. We just did that to protect her image." Okay, so I get not, being together anymore, but to dog her out like that and just blast her on social media, like that's crazy to me. So many people were at this point coming to Brandy and questioning her. "Is it true? Why'd you lie? What happened? What's he talking about?" And, she's trying to handle it the best way that she can. She was like, "Listen, my relationship with him was a spiritual union and true commitment to each other." But ultimately, over time, she confirmed that, they weren't married. But it was fine because the next year she started dating Quentin Richardson, who was playing for the Los Angeles Clippers at the time. They got engaged in July of 2004, and Girlie was so sprung over him that she went and got his face tattooed on her. But then they broke up in September 2005, and she ended up getting it covered up and turned into a cat. Like, come on, cover up. Listen, I know that all too well. When I was married, bruh had my name tattooed on him as a way of like saying, "Hey, sorry for cheating," which was some stupid shit that I believed back then. And he kept like saying that he wanted me to get tatted with his name, but he was a hoe. So I got his last name inside of a heart because I'm like, okay, I knew he would fuck up again. And when we did get divorced, I got that shit covered up and turned into some roses and pearls. And so my old tattoo with his name is now a rose petal now. But anyway, I digress. So, like I said, she was dating some very fine guys. She dated Flo Rida in 2010, but they called it off because he was, very low key and he didn't like to be in the spotlight. Yeah, like that's going to happen when you're an artist. Okay. But she moved on, and in 2012, she got engaged to the music executive Ryan Press. But by 2014, the two of them called off their engagement after they had a very public breakup. And once again, Brandy came out on top. She turned her pain into passion because she got in that booth and she released her seventh studio album, B7. And quiet as kept, a lot of people thought that that song Bye Bipolar was about her and him. But, I can't confirm that for sure. Honestly, it's not too far from it. But, like I said, she continued to have all of these accolades and awards and all of that. Now, Brandy got a little bit of a bad streak when it comes to conflict that stems from her early teen years to the accident. Okay, see, back when she was a background dancer for Immature and a background singer, y'all know that Immature is the group that consists of Jerome Jones, aka Romeo, Marcus Houston, aka Batman, and Don Santos, aka Half Pint. So one day, Brandy and some of the group are all kind of hanging out in one of the rooms and they're goofing off instead of doing what, they were supposed to be doing, which was packing up because their parents were supposed to be picking them up. And I don't know what fully happened, but Brandy ends up getting into an argument with Half Pint. And the two of them are like arguing like old people arguing. And they're going back and forth and back and forth. And Brandy's got this book in her hand. And the next thing you know, she tosses it backward, not knowing that Romeo is behind her. So when she tossed it, she ended up hitting him in the eye. And it like, it fucked him up so bad that it had cut his retina and completely detached it. Like, y'all, the lens to his eye completely fell out. And luckily, somebody was there that caught it. So, he's basically holding his eye and he's screaming and hollering because he didn't know what was going on. And he was just an innocent bystander, for lack of better words. So Marcus comes in and he sees Romeo laying on the bed and he's crying and screaming. And, they're both trying to calm stuff down because now Half Pint is telling Brandy, "Oh, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble." All of that. And she's crying upset. "Oh my God, what did I do?" But, they're trying to calm down because they didn't want her to get in trouble. So Chris Stokes, who was their manager, he comes in and he takes Romeo to the hospital. And that's how he ends up having to wear that eye patch all the time. And I hate to say it, but Girly got like a history of just beef and run-ins with people. Like that's really crazy to me because it's like, damn, who haven't you gotten into it with? But as time goes on, she's doing all of these great things. And then shit hits the fan because on December 30th, 2006, it cost one person their life. And that one person was Awatef Obudahaj. Awatef Abudahaj was born May 14th, 1968 in Grand Casablanca, Morocco to Abudahaj Ahmed and Labridi Zora. Now, I don't have much on her because literally everywhere that I looked for this woman, it only showed information about the lawsuit and the car accident itself. But I do know that she was a waitress at the time and had two sons, Marwan Muhammad, who was 14 years old, and then her son, Kareem Muhammad, who was 10 years old. Marwan supposedly came from a prior marriage, but there wasn't much confirmation on that. She didn't, she didn't stay single for long though, because she got remarried. Her husband's name is Marwani Hidudu. I'm not gonna lie though, when I first looked at it, y'all, I thought it said marijuana. It's pronounced marijuani, which I mean, it's kind of close. Like if you think about it, it's really kind of close. But like I was about to be done. I just knew I was going to hell. But anyway, so it's December 30th, 2006, and Awatef and her two sons are in her Toyota. And Brandy is behind her in a 2007 Land Rover. And, she's not doing anything illegal as far as like drinking or doing drugs or whatever like that. But she just wasn't paying attention. And so Brandy is in her 2007 Land Rover driving at about 65 miles per hour. And when she looks up, it was like a quick reaction. She's like, oh shit. So it's too late to slam on the brakes. And she ends up slamming into the back of a 2005 Toyota. And the 2005 Toyota is the car that Awatef was driving with her two sons, Marwan and Kareem. Now, because she hit her head so hard, or excuse me, because she hit the back of her so hard, the Toyota ended up hitting another driver that was in front of them. And, I would have swerves to avoid hitting anybody else, but literally kind of like slid sideways and hit the center divider. So once it comes to a halt, this 1988 Acura driven by Mallory Ham is coming past, and it ends up striking the victim, causing more damage and more harm. And, everybody is watching in horror and shock. People are jumping out of their cars, and Brandy is just frantic. She's getting out, and there was another driver that was there that witnessed the accident. And like he was behind Brandy when she was driving. And he later tells her he tells the media anyway. He was like, she was just so upset. She was talking about how it was all her fault. She didn't stop saying it. She just kept saying how she hit the lady and it was her fault. I he's telling the media how she's walking in front of traffic, crossing the lanes, of speeding cars, frantic. People were honking at her to get them out of the road. She was just absolutely disoriented and highly upset. I, like I said, stuff like that, I'm kind of like, all right, I feel like it may be a reach. I feel like somebody is lying, but I can't confirm it for sure. Now, there were some sources, according to the California Highway Patrol, that said that originally Awatef was the one that initiated the accident because, according to them, she hit the car in front of her and then slammed on her brakes before Brandy even hit her car, not allowing her time to react. So basically, her sudden stop is the reason why Brandy ended up braking so fast and hitting her. But the day that it happened, she's been struck head on, and Brandy is getting out of the car and she's freaking out and she's crying and she's like, oh my God, what did I do? I just hit this lady. I just hit this lady. And, the guy that was driving behind her gets out and, he's not involved. He's making sure everybody's okay, all of that. So he gets out and he hears, Brandy rambling and she just keeps saying, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I hit her. I hit her. And this is where I start to think,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
because, ma'am, you are a whole celebrity. If nothing else, help and make sure that they're okay, but don't say nothing. Like, keep it on the hush, okay? What the elders say, keep it on the hush. Let the professionals make the determination. Like, you already got the cameras on you because of who you are. You don't need any more extra attention, especially after reading what the witness was saying. So this witness talked about how he tried to calm her down and he was like, hey, you know what? You got to stop admitting guilt. You got to stop telling people that you did this. Just relax. Just calm down. It's going to work out. We're going to get it taken care of, but you got to calm down. And, he's trying to let her calm down as she just keeps saying like, oh my God, I did this. And he was like, it's an accident. It's going to be all right. So he goes and checks on the victim, but he can't find a pulse. So he's like, okay, we got to get 911. But, they're not coming quick enough. And he's trying to reassure Brandy, hey, it's, calm down. It's okay. We've got 911 coming. Just, relax. And he tells the media that he told her specifically, don't admit guilt. It was an accident. Now, me personally, I don't think that he ever said that. I don't believe that. I think he just said that for the interview and to make himself feel important. But be that as it may, he's going to try to calm her down and, he's consoling her and everything. So law enforcement and EMS get out there and they rushed Awatef and her two children to the hospital. She's taken to LA Providence Holy Cross Medical Center along with her two sons. And Brandy is, obviously fine, but she goes to get checked out because, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. And they're trying to resuscitate her and everything. But unfortunately, after a day's battle, 38-year-old Awatef Abudahaj died of blunt force trauma and injuries. Luckily, her sons were able to recover, but not so much for her. Now, at this point, the coroner is doing their autopsy and everything with the medical examiner, and it turns out that Awatev had some traces of marijuana in her system. Not Brandy, of course. It wasn't much, but there were traces of it in her system that brought up concern. She officially died December 31st, 2006, and her husband and kids were naturally just, torn up. Her sons are trying to recover not only from the accident, but losing their mother. Her parents, they came in from Morocco, and that's why, she was taken there to be buried. And things only got worse from there because everybody was hitting the tabloids on some, oh, Brandy just killed somebody. Like there was absolutely no compassion, no sympathy. And I mean, but then again, do we really expect it when it comes to celebrities? Like we see that they got stuff going on, we give our opinions on it, we talk about it, and that's exactly what they were doing. People were talking about how she had done something so stupid and how she needed to be charged. The citizens of the city were, upset about it. And even though, she didn't break any laws necessarily, it just was kind of like a stupid mistake. It was something as simple as not paying attention. But at one point, like she actually was facing up to 1 year in prison and a $50,000 fine. But what made it so hard is that she still had to keep doing business. She still had to keep grinding and keep working and being Brandy the entertainer. And that only made things worse. So the city launches a criminal investigation, but they decided to not press charges on her because it literally was an accident. But my question was, why did it take 8 months for them to investigate the car crash in the first place? Like, I don't know. In that time frame, Brandy is doing a lot. She's dealing with the accident, plus trying to continue to work. She's promoting her album. She's getting ready. She's getting ready to do the television shows and everything. She's got club appearances, all of that. And that only pissed off Awatef's husband, Marijuana, even more because he's seeing pictures of Brandy at the club, and she's out and about, and he's like, yo, how dare she be out here partying and, living it up while we're grieving. So he, along with Awatef's parents, decided to file a civil suit. So the parties in the civil suit were him, the two kids, her parents, and then Mallory Ham, who was driving the Honda that, hit and killed her in the first place. So they end up going to trial January 28th, 2008, and they were awarded $1.2 million. Now, hubby decided he didn't want the money. He's looking at it like, okay, this isn't gonna bring my wife back, which, is true. So the two of them, decide, hey, we're not gonna go through and accept this lawsuit. And he decides to later on, get a different lawyer and try all over again.
Looking for unique, personalized gifts that stand out? Look no further than Trinity's Treasures, also known as 478 Customs. Listen, it's obvious I'm sipping from one of their incredible tumblers right now, and I can tell you, they're not just functional, they are fabulous. From custom t shirts to stylish trucker hats, dazzling jewelry, and even refurbished Nikes. Trinity's Treasures has something for everyone. Parents, need a thoughtful gift for your kids' teachers or a back to school bag for your kiddos? They've got that covered too. And guess what? They're a verified Houston County vendor. Plus, they offer discounts for military personnel, first responders, and y'all know how I feel about first responders because hello, nurses, educators, schools, nonprofits, and bulk orders too. So text 478 205 9472 or join their Facebook group 478 Customs. Tell them Kay sent you and get ready to be amazed by the most incredible personalized gear. Trinity's Treasures, where your treasures come to life.
So after this whole ordeal with her having to go through this public, ridicule, and the family members of this woman are coming at her and the lawsuits and all of that, she kind of took a bit of hiatus, but she had to keep going eventually. She had just released her album Human not too long beforehand, and at a time where she should really be celebrating and just, reveling in her success, she's basically dealing with a bunch of turmoil. And so she kind of rebranded herself a little bit, especially since, everything that was going on. Her sales didn't really do as good as she expected. Human debuted at like number 15 and only sold, I think, 73,000 copies the first week, with only 214,000 copies being sold total. So, she decided that she was going to do something different. In the following year, in December 2009, her alter ego was introduced to the music world, brand new. And she did a few tracks on Timbaland's album, Timbaland Presents Shock Value 2. And that's when she really kind of took off with her role in rapping. She shocked America once again by squashing her long and drawn out beef with Monica by they linked up in February of 2012, and they released that track It All Belongs to Me, which was put on Brandy's album New Life. And, she had the show, she had the tracks. Then she hit him again by doing a song with Chris Brown. She did that Put It Down remix. And that song went viral on TikTok with the dance, to it and everything. And so she ended up putting out another album. And that album had like, I want to say it was called 211, if I'm not mistaken, with a couple of hits on there as well. And then Tyler Perry put her in his movie Temptations, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Baby, when I tell you anybody that works with Tyler Perry, I'm going to always love because he is a mastermind. Like a lot of our people are quick to criticize that man about how, his stuff is redundant, how he emasculates men and all of that. But he damn sure know how to pay people because y'all keep running to the box office to talk trash about his movies. But a lot of people felt like Brandy got away with murder because there was no arrest or anything like that. But in hindsight, she wasn't drinking, she wasn't doing any drugs. She literally just wasn't paying attention. She looked up a second too late. And it's not as if she wasn't devastated by it because she was. And I think that the accident kind of made her really look at her life differently because that was around the time she had decided to do the reality show with her family, Brandy and Ray J, A Family Business. And, they got their parents in on the show, and it really just kind of gave an insight to their lives and how they, deal with production and everything like that. So while she was filming the reality show, like I said, she got to be on Dancing with the Stars, and she ended up continuing in her acting journey with joining the cast of BET's The Game. Y'all remember that show? She played Chardonnay Pitts, the character that had the rushed marriage with Jason Pitts and all of that. And she ended up becoming a regular on the show. Now, around this time is when the husband decided to file a second lawsuit, Marijuana. He decided that it was time for him to file a civil suit, but that was, basically dismissed. And then he filed a third time, but when he filed the third time, he got an undisclosed amount of money, which I'm sure was large. And her two children got $300,000 each in 2009. So this was around the time that, all of that happened as far as them getting the money. Oh, and Mallory Ham, she got an undisclosed amount as well. Now, since then, Brandy has gone on to do many great things. In 2015, Brandy made her Broadway debut as Roxy Hart in the musical Chicago, followed by her seventh and eighth studio albums, B7, which was released in 2020, and then the Holiday Christmas album with Brandy. She has sold 8.62 million albums in the US, along with having 10.5 million album units and 5 million single units certified through the RIAA. Her accolades include a Grammy Award and a American Music Award. She became known for her distinctive sound, characterized by her peculiar, like riffs and all of that. So that's how she ended up with the name The Vocal Bible because baby, she can do it all. Okay. And, she just keeps getting better. She and Monica had perhaps the biggest verses in history at Tyler Perry Studios, where the two of them, once again, were able to hash out their differences, like grown women. And even Michelle Obama popped in on them. Like it was watched by a record breaking 1.2 million viewers on the Instagram live stream alone. BET listed the moment as number one on its list of the 20 most OMG viral moments of 2020. 2 months later, Brandy, ended up performing at the Billboard Music Awards, and she did like this crazy medley or whatever. That was when she did the "I Want to Be Down" remix. And in August of 2021, she teamed up with Naturi Naughton, Eve, and Nadine Velasquez for the ABC's musical drama Queens, in which she played one fourth of a veteran hip hop group. Like I was really hyped to see her really doing what she loved. Her rhymes were epic too. Like she has some flow. I still listen to the soundtrack. Don't judge me. And of course, most recently, she and Monica kicked off their The Boy Is Mine tour in October of 2025, alongside with Kelly Rowland, Money Long, Maya, and Jamal Roberts. And shout out to Jamal because he just won the American Idol or whatever. Like that's mad dope. He's already on tour. Like that's incredible. And, I missed the Greensboro show, but God willing, I will be in the building in Atlanta December 4th to see The Boy Is Mine live. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of Brandy Norwood, full speed ahead. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. And now it is time for Fair or Foul, where we look at the justice system to determine if the punishment was indeed fair or if it was just some bullshit that's going to have us sitting back saying, what the fuck? Now, in this instance, Brandy wasn't actually charged. I think it literally was a situation where she just made a deadly mistake. Like, I don't know if it's true about Awatef, being out there high, or if Brandy just wasn't paying attention or what. But either way, a woman is dead. And then on top of that, it's not like Brandy didn't feel any remorse, but people take when someone is silent about a topic as a means of denial. Like, oh, maybe you didn't think she's just processing it, or maybe she's scared of whatever she's going to say, to be scrutinized, because we do have a habit of doing that. Like anything that hits social media, we going to pick it apart. And for me, I feel like Brandy wasn't actually charged, so I'm looking at it from the aspect of, that as far as fair or foul. And in this one, I can say fairly, just based off of the fact that there was no evidence that showed up, that she intentionally hit this woman to, kill her. Like I think it's fair that, she wasn't charged. But also, I do kind of think that there could have been some type of consequence, being it a suspended license or whatever, because when you have alcoholics that go out and they do something stupid and they cause harm to somebody else, they have to take some type of class or, what have you. And I feel like maybe that could have been done for Brandy to where she could have, taken a class or something along the lines of that nature. But I don't think that she intentionally went on that road to kill somebody and just, she wasn't looking and she wasn't paying attention to people and just conflict overall. But that doesn't mean that she's guilty. And, I hate that so many people scrutinized her, but that's just how it is. That's the religion. People are going to have something to say about everything that you do. And she just happened to be the hot topic at the time. And, you know, Brandy has spoken out on it a few times. She talked about it in 2014, and she talked about how it was one of the worst times of her life and that, she didn't think she could get over it, but she had to focus on moving forward. And later, when she did Dancing with the Stars, she even expressed it in a video on stage because there was another contestant that, had gone through something similar with two people that were, killed. So it's not to say that she's not remorseful or not regretful. It's just an unfortunate situation. That is all for this week's episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. You can follow the show on the various streams on Instagram and TikTok at Infamous One Podcast. That's a number one, by the way, not spelled out, and you can leave a review there. On X, it's Infamous One Pod, where you can also leave a review. On Facebook, you can join the private discussion group, the Infamous Ones discussion group. Y'all know the deal though. To get in, you got to answer the questions. I do try to check the group like once a week to let members in. But if I see you have not answered the questions, I will not be letting you in. That simple. Y'all know better. Get your lives together. Okay. The show streams on multiple streaming services like Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on. So please leave a review. It only takes a few seconds. The reviews matter. And I'm about to read a few, so here we go. The first one comes from Spotify from Kim, and it was on the Chicken King episode. Y'all remember that one where the boyfriend had a wife, but he had a side chick and then got the side chick pregnant and all of that. So this one says, my new favorite podcast. I love the way you tell a story. Keep them coming, and I will be listening. Let's go. Thank you, Kim Boo. Like, I greatly appreciate it. Keep listening with the mob. Bigger and better is coming, baby. The next review comes from Apple Podcast from JCNJ2, and it's 5 stars and it's captioned, Love it. I love listening to true crime, and I recently came across the infamous ones, and I love it. Excellent research and love how it's victim centered. I'm binging from episode 1 and I'm loving it so far. Keep up the excellent work. Listen, I love when I see someone say that they're, starting from the beginning. That makes me just feel so happy because, yes, y'all keep it going. Okay. All right, so announcement time. This Friday, November 27th, the Black Friday virtual show. That's right. I'm going to be doing a virtual show this Black Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure y'all got your time set to the appropriate, time zone, whatever. It's going to be a private show, and you have to be in the discussion group in order to have access. It's going to be, a little informal. So it's, basically like a meet and greet where you guys will be able to ask questions and whatnot. And there will be a mini case that I will be presenting, but mainly it's just to chop it up with y'all and, talk some true crime. So make sure you got a glass of something, something just to sip on, and make sure that you RSVP in the discussion group to receive your link via email. Now, there will be an invitation event that has been created, or rather, there is one. So you can confirm your attendance through that. I put everything in the group. So if you don't check it, I don't know what to tell you. January 17th, 2026 will be the live show at Collinwood in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know a ton of y'all have registered already. Yes, it is a free event. Tickets are free, but you have to register in order to attend. You cannot show up the day of and just think you're going to walk in. I have posted the link for Eventbrite where you can go in and register. So if you have not done so already and plan to attend the free show, please do so. Okay, that link will be up until December 31st. After that, if you have not registered, I can't help you. Also, there are tickets for alcohol that can be purchased at $20 per person, and it gets you 4 drinks. Now, we're going to have a great bartender on deck from Tipsy Sips, so please, purchase your alcohol in advance again. Now, if you purchase it at the door, it is $25. The package gets you a wristband that will give you 4 drinks. Now, on another note, your girl will have her doctoral degree in less than a month, y'all. Okay. December 17th is almost here and I will be done. Like, yes. Now, I'm still trying to, figure out how I'm going to celebrate. Like, I'm going to do a cruise next year in the summer, but I want to do something before then. So, if y'all want, y'all give me some suggestions. That's cheap because your girl is broke. Okay. But yes, the doctor is officially almost here. Like, that was a shameless plug. I know. The Infamous Ones is now accepting sponsorships. The sponsorships for the show start at $50 and up. If interested in sponsorship, please send an email to infamous1pod@gmail.com and I will send you the information. If you would like to promote your business, there's a special for promo that's $30 and you can promote your business through the show. The show has about 2 to 4,000 streams per episode. So that's about 2 to 4,000 people that will ultimately hear about your business. So make sure you email for information. Oh, and make sure to check out the website www.mizk.com for all of my books and whatnot. If you have not received your order, please let me know. Send an email or something. I'm gonna do another flash sale soon, probably someday this week. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna do, the sale that I did last time. We shall see. Also, I'm almost done with my new book, which I'm excited about. I want to drop it next month so bad. My latest is called The Vow, which is a story of a woman that gave her all in her marriage, and when it didn't work, she got even. So, yeah, get ready for that. If you want to support the show or if you're feeling the spirit, meaning that liquor that we've been sipping on, go ahead and click the link at the bottom of the screen from whatever app you're listening to this episode on and hit listener support to subscribe. The subscriptions start at 99 cents, or you can donate via the Cash App to infamous one pod. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD. And of course, donations go toward court documentations, phone calls, interviews, JPay, all of that. If you have a case that you want to hear more on that you feel has been ignored in the Black community, if you want to inquire on ad space, sponsorship, or if you want to leave a review, send an email to infamous1pod@gmail.com. And once again, people, please share, share, share. This podcast is growing by the day and it means the world, so please keep sharing. Until then, y'all know what it is. I'm your girl Kay. Thank you for tuning in with me and my family tonight, and I will see y'all Friday with the virtual show. Stay mobbing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay. Be sure to like and comment on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.